Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for making it tonight, and sorry for the delay. I was trying to make sure our live stream was working, and of course, something is not working correctly, but we'll take a look at that in the program. In the meantime, we're just going to go ahead and get started here on AirMeet, and so thank you so much for joining us for this April 2021 New York Tech Meetup. We have a fantastic program set up for you tonight, and I am just going to get started with a few announcements and thank yous quickly, and then we'll get right to the demo program. If you have any questions, please let me know in the chat or the question section of the event environment. Otherwise, we'll keep things rolling. So again, thank you so much. A little bit about who we are. We are the New York Tech Alliance. We are a nonprofit organization that works to create access, equity, and inclusion in the New York tech community to make it the most diverse and dynamic in the world. To learn more about who we are, check us out at nytech.org. And again, my name is Andy Saldaña. I'm the executive director. You can always reach out to me, Andy at nytech.org, and we're happy to have a conversation. Quickly, a quick privacy statement. We are going to be recording this session and taking screen captures. So if you don't want your image to be present, make sure that you have your camera and microphone off. Otherwise, we hope you smile and enjoy the recording after the event. And then quickly about tonight's agenda, we are going to get through a few thank yous and announcements, some ground rules, the demos, which we're all waiting for. Then at the end of the event, some community asks and offers. So if there's anything that you have that you'd like to ask for or anything that you would like to offer up, feel free to put it in the chat, and I will select a few of you to come on camera and make that ask at the end of the event. So first, a few quick thank yous. Thank you so much to all of our annual partners for making the work that we do possible. Everybody from Crown Castle, Eisner-Ampner, Nation Builder, Sabity, Witham, Work Better, Verizon, Frankfurt Curate, Paul, Google, EY, they're all really fantastic. Grasshopper and NYIT, they're all amazing partners within the tech community here in New York City and ready to connect with you, the community. So if you would like to learn more about them, be sure to check them out on our website. We've created these amazing pages for all of the partners, surfacing up amazing resources that they're offering to the community. So be sure to check them out. And if you are planning a tech event, we are always happy to have it listed on our community calendar, nytech.org/events. It is a free service that we provide to the New York tech community. So if it's a tech-related and event focus, put it on the calendar, and we will be sure to get that out into the network. We also include a few of them in our newsletter on a bi-weekly basis. And so if you have a community tech event, make sure it's listed on our calendar. And then if you would like to apply to demo at one of these future events, be sure to check out the application at nytech.info/apply to demo. Of course, you can find all of this information on our website. If you like tonight's event and other events that we've done, please check out our upcoming events. We have two in the next couple of weeks. The first one is Thursday, April the 29th at 11:30 a.m. We are doing our next NYTA forum. It's our annual VC update led by Paul Ellis of Paul Ellis Law Firm, and he moderates a fantastic panel conversation with three amazing VCs in the network talking about the current state. We encourage you to check it out. You can RSVP starting tomorrow on our website. And then if you like this event, we hope you come back for Tuesday, May 4th, our next New York Tech Meetup. It's going to be a very special tech meetup showcasing startups from around the world. So we already have two, one from the Maldives, one from Gambia. We're working on a couple of others. Really exciting program that we're putting together. We hope that you come back and see us today. And then quickly, we launched our volunteer program late last year. We are in full gear connecting volunteers to local nonprofits in the ecosystem as we look into recovery from the year's past events. We are specifically looking for UX UI designers to help grow NYC and the Harlem Art Walk. So if you are a UX UI, if you know React Native, these are very specific skill sets. Please reach out to us. We're looking to place volunteers with these organizations. You can always sign up for those and other projects on our website at /volunteercore. And then that brings us to tonight's event. We have 4 amazing companies ready to demo and present for you. Everything is really focused about creating communities and connecting teams in a remote world. They're all doing very different things, but all, again, creating that connectivity and sense of community. It's really, I'm really excited to have put the program together for you, and interacting with each of the demoing companies and the demoers themselves. It's been such a pleasure getting to know them. I hope that you enjoy the demos. Before we get to them, though, of course, there's a few more things. One, if you like what we do tonight, support us on our website at support_NYTA, either through making a donation when you register for virtual events, becoming a supporting member, or simply making a small donation on our website. And then that brings us to ground rules. So just very, very simple ground rules. Keep questions in the question area of the platform so that we can find them and feed them to our demoers. The second one is be present in the moment and watching the demos. They've prepared for this, and so please give them your attention. And then lastly, be respectful. We create a very inclusive and inviting environment, and we just ask that everybody be super respectful. Thank you. There is one question that we do not allow in this meetup, and if you've gone to the in-person events, you know it by heart. But for anybody who's new to the community, the one question is, what's your business model? Here at New York Tech Meetup, we don't really focus on the business model, achievable market size. We really focus on the technology and the product. So please keep your questions specific to the product or the technology itself. And if you have business model questions or revenue model questions, or asking them how they're in the market, feel free to save those and connect with the demoers at the end in the networking portion of the event. They all will be sticking around for at least half an hour, and we hope that you can converse and connect with them. And that brings us to tonight's event. Finally, I know that was a lot of intro, a lot of thank yous. Really quickly, I'm always here to answer any questions you have about the organization and connect you to the resources that we can help you with. But we're all here to see this amazing group of demoers. Again, the whole program is focused on connecting communities and teams in a remote world. And the first demo that we have for you up for you today is SuperQuestion, which is all about connecting you to ask the questions that you need to in 60 seconds or less. So Dave, come on up.
Hi, thanks, Andy. That was exactly right. And you did a great job of explaining what it is in about 10 seconds. So brevity is actually the key to this whole thing. As Andy said, my name's Dave. The product that I made is called SuperQuickQuestion. And the idea is that it's a one-on-one video meeting app with a 60-second time limit. So the background for this is that I enjoy brevity and I enjoy efficiency. So in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to show you 2 slides and my demo. I also don't like meetings. I love meetups like this one, for example, but not meetings. I work for IBM, which is a big company, and there are lots and lots of meetings and lots of layers of bureaucracy. And I found some success at getting access to high-level executives as a result of my reputation for having really quick and efficient conversations. For example, I'll Slack somebody at 9:57 and I'll say, I have a super quick question for you. Can I have a minute? They say, oh, it's 9:57. I've got a 10. And I'll say, that's plenty of time. Go by their desk. We're done 60 seconds later. And I'll time it too. So we decided to scale this and actually build this into a thing, which is what I'm going to present to you all now. So I'm just going to share the 2 slides that I mentioned, if you'll bear with me for just a moment. So this is the problem prop slide, right? This is the one that says something that everybody already knows, that most meetings are actually a huge waste of time. 25 to 50% of meetings are considered a waste of time, according to Forbes. If you look at the second part down, $399 billion a year wasted by poorly organized meetings. And then, of course, there's the health and happiness aspect of Zoom fatigue. We're not meant to be staring at screens all day, every day, and yet that is what we've all been doing. I've been getting crushed by back-to-back meetings all day, every day. You look at your calendar with a sense of dread. So the idea behind this is to free up your calendar so you can actually do the work that matters, be creative, be collaborative, go for a walk, whatever you have to do aside from sitting on meetings all day. This is the new normal workday with remote work. Everybody's overscheduled. Big companies have been chasing like the holy grail, the 10-minute meeting, and have been failing. So average meeting is like 30 minutes. And that's too long. And that means that if you're in back-to-backs all day, all of a sudden you've only accomplished 16 things, maybe not even accomplished anything, but you've been staring at the screen all day. During these meetings, there's the cultural expectation at the beginning. How are you? It's raining. What's going on? There's a time and place for that, but not necessarily if you're trying to get a super question answered. Other forms of communication aside from a video call don't have urgency. So email, even Slack, asynchronous, I'll get to that later. Question, reply, wait. Deferred answers, you try to get on somebody's calendar. Yes, I've got a super question for you. Today's Tuesday. Well, see if you can find some time in my calendar on Monday. So I've got to wait a whole week. And then, of course, the efficiency and the importance of video calls is that they can tell the tone. Somebody will know if you're being sarcastic or serious or snarky, and those are all rather important things. So now I'm going to unshare my screen. I think I did that successfully. Hopefully everybody's still here, and I didn't break the AirMeet platform. So we realize that 60 seconds is a quick amount of time, and as I just said before to some of my new friends at our table, 60 seconds isn't as short as you think it is. 60 seconds is 3 times. The Emancipation Proclamation was 3 minutes long. So I say to people, if you think what you've got to say is more than a third important as that speech, then you probably need more than 60 seconds, but chances are you don't. So I'm going to share my screen again, and please bear with me because this is my first time using this platform. I'm going to share my screen again, and Andy has been kind enough to demo the actual product with me. It lives on Slack. So that's where I'll be in just a second. And let's see if I can open it up here. Okay. Andy, I hope you're staying by. So this is the command \SQQ to Andy, and then I'll say, why is NY Tech so great? And then I send it to Andy, and then there's a button, and then Andy and I will both join it. I may have to share a different window here. So that's Andy and that's me. And then we're both talking to each other, and you can see along the bottom of the screen, it says that I'm asking a question, and you've got a counter, 16 seconds, 17 seconds, and then it will give us time to discuss the issue that we need to discuss. And then, as you can see, a minute is actually quite a great deal of time because I've already explained the interface and I've got half my left.
I don't think we see the screen.
I'm sharing the wrong, am I presenting the wrong screen? Hang on, let me see if I can unshare and reshare before it's over. Sorry, all. I think I may have done it. Here. So that's how that works. I apologize for the hiccup there, but that's essentially you do a command on Slack and then the other person answers, then you get a status bar at the bottom. You've got 60 seconds to wrap up your question. And so it's not designed for absolutely everything, but it's designed, as you can see by the little logo guy, it's designed to replace the desk pop-in or the office pop-in. If you want to talk to one other person, you've got one issue that you want to resolve, this is the thing. And the idea is to get people back to doing their work and not spending not spending all their time backed up on calendars. And as I was saying to some of our friends at the table before, I had a call for it today where somebody put 15 minutes on the calendar for us for Thursday. And I said, or we could just talk right now for 60 seconds and I can take that 15 minutes back. So that's the product. It's free. It's in the Slack App Store now. It's going to be in the Microsoft Teams App Store in a few days. I would love for everybody here to try it out, and please feel free to send as much feedback. I hope you'll love it, and I hope it helps you free up time to do more important things than sit on meetings.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Dave. I'm going to ask you the first question during the Q&A, and it's, can you recycle the link that you sent in Slack? So so I received a button that says let's go. You received a button that says let's go. Can you recycle that same meeting button for a second meeting?
No, at the moment, and that's designed for security so nobody else can pop in. So every meeting creates a unique link. Future iterations, so we're building out another part of the platform that's going to be platform agnostic. So you can text it, you can email it, you can do it on Discord or any of the other things. Right now, it's just Slack and Teams. And that one will have a calendar functionality whereby you, Andy, will have your own QQ link. So you can send that to anybody. So it'll look the same, but it will still generate a unique meeting every time. And the idea, what we're hoping, is that it becomes ubiquitous enough that you'll say, just how I saw all of our nice colleagues in the chat saying, this is my LinkedIn, this is LinkedIn. I want it to be a thing where it's like, here's my email, here's my LinkedIn, here's my SQQ. And if you want to spend 60 seconds talking to me, this is how you find me.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a question from the Q&A from Georgianne, actually. Thank you, Georgianne. And it's asking, will there be a log of question and answers in the back end? And I think that that's a really interesting point to create like a virtual FAQ.
Yeah, so is the question, sorry, the question is, will there be a log of the questions sent and received?
Correct, and the answers.
Right, so at the moment, we're keeping it really lightweight because we don't want to store any information or any data there. So these are, we through our own backend, will be able to see how many SuperQuickQuestions have been enacted in a space. So you know if people are using it. So for example, if you're a CTO or if you're in HR, you'll be able to see if the tool is working in certain spaces. But we're not storing anything at the moment for privacy issues and things like that. So we want to keep it pretty lightweight. There is a future iteration once we start charging for it and we beef it up more. If we do start charging for it, we're going to have an AI transcription for the action items at the end. So it'll say, okay, so here's the resolution. And then you'll have a kind of a receipt, like a minutes of the minute. I hope that answered the question, Georgianne.
I think that's a great answer, and definitely in line with I think what Georgie was asking. If that's not, please put it in the chat and we can reframe. But I think that that's a really excellent point. So, if you have a question for SuperQuickQuestion, please feel free to put it in the questions. And Georgie says that was answered, so thank you. It's really interesting. Like, are you seeing, you're integrating with Slack and Teams, and when you talk about creating this URL, like, how are you thinking about transitioning that? And kind of what is that looking like for an individual user? So do you sign up for a SuperQuickQuestion account, or do you just integrate it into the Slack and it's already integrated, or how's that working right now? So
for now, it's integrated into Slack. So if you need admin permission, like with any other app, but you just go in the Slack App Store and you add it, and then it's a part of your thing, and then you never have to do anything. And same with Teams. In the future iteration, you'll have your own account. So if you want to host, or if you want to be the person who sends a super quick question, you have an account, and that'll be, we'll link it up with all the other auths that you can. So it'll have a Google Calendar functionality or an Outlook Calendar functionality, and then you create your own meeting link and you can send it to anybody that is one of your contacts.
Awesome, that's really great. And there's another question that came in. Does the person answering only have 60 seconds to answer as well? And I think that's a great clarification point.
Yeah, so that is a great point. So we have on the interface, there's an inflection point, but it's kind of arbitrary, where it's just in the middle and it says, now you should be answering. So the whole thing is 60 seconds. And the hope is that this alters behavior, that this makes a table, my networking table just before, somebody brought up the point that this will force people to be more efficient in the way they ask their questions, because I could spend 50 seconds asking my question and then I don't leave any time for the answer. So the hope is that this forces people to be a little bit more thoughtful considerate of somebody else's time. So I will actually, if I know I'm not the best at brevity, I will take the time and craft my question, say, okay, what do I really need to know? And then I'll ask it and then leave 50 seconds for somebody to actually give me my answer. Or if I'm building up to the inverse to that is if I'm getting to what I know is going to be a yes or no response, then I can take a longer chunk of time to build up to it and make the case for both sides and say, so which is it going to be, yes or no? And then wrap it up there.
Because it is only 60 seconds, I'm going to try this one more time. So send me the Slack request and then share the screen with the actual video, and we'll show the demo one more time.
Okay. Are you sharing your screen or am I sharing my screen?
Either way, I can share my screen.
Okay, let me do another one.
I'll share screen. I'll get it ready.
So Andy, after Let's Go, you just have to join and then we should both be in. There you go. So you should see me, except for my camera is currently not working, which has to do with the app, but actually is my own thing. Just because I installed something silly. But yeah, so there's the status bar on the bottom. It says Dave is asking a question. So if Andy had sent it to me, it would have said Andy is asking a question. And then in the middle there is the inflection point that we talked about. And that little jingle you heard a second ago was the to let you know that somebody else has joined. And then, yeah, so if I was done asking my question right now, I would stop talking and then Andy could answer and could talk about why NY Tech Meetup is so awesome.
Yeah, and then if you finish the question early, we would just leave.
Right, but you'll stay on because part of the secret sauce is the way that it ends. It plays a little jingle and then it gives you a curtain, so it's not so rude that it shuts you off right away. Like a Zoom meeting where it just says you're done and then you're done. This kind of reminds you. So if we were getting to the end here and I heard this song, I'd say, okay, got it. Thanks, Andy. I'll email you. And then your virtual curtain that goes up.
Oh, I think that part's working right now.
Okay, I think you just.
I think I have too many things open on my desktop, but that's really great, really great. And I think,
yeah, I would love anybody. Please, we're heavy into beta test now, so I'd love for you to check it out and give us all the feedback you can muster.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dave. That was really fantastic. And always thank you for being the first demoer out of the gate.
Sure.
It was nerve-wracking, but thank you so much. If you have questions for Dave, make sure that you connect with them at the end of the event in the networking piece. And we're going to move right along into our next demo. Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Andy.
All right. While we get the next demoer set up, we are moving into how do you connect community for one-on-one meetings, connecting peers together? Addison from Orbiit is going to answer that question for us. So thank you so much for joining us today, Addison. I'm really excited for the community to see this, especially since we're going to get out for the New York tech community. So I'll let you take it away. If you want to go ahead and share your screen, we want to make sure everything is working, and then I'll hide myself and I'll come back in 5 minutes.
Perfect. Let me just share. Andy, remind me, I want to do application windows, right?
Correct.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, and you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
And you can see the tab change, just making sure.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to double check. Great.
Awesome.
Well,
I'm going to have and take it away.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Andy. Orbiit is, well, first of all, I'm Addie, business development at Orbiit, which is a virtual networking platform that enables community managers like Andy to facilitate curated one-to-one virtual introductions between community members. So as Andy alluded to, we're actually going to be piloting Orbiit with all of you and NYTA. So this demo is actually sort of what you guys can expect in a couple weeks. And it's, of course, branded with Untitled. So I'm going to walk through quickly sort of the end user experience, so what you all would experience getting connected one-to-one with each other, and then the admin experience as well. So just to present here, everything that an end user experiences through Orbiit is over email and through an opt-in form. So there actually is no platform that you need to interface with. You don't need to have a login, a profile, anything like that. The first thing that you see is essentially an email that will look identical to this, where it's inviting you to opt in to be matched to another community member. So just to note a couple things here. So Andy, or in this case, or any other community manager, is in charge of choosing topics to connect over. So Andy chose allyship, not to ruin the surprise here for when you guys experience Orbiit, but that will be the topic, and whoever wants to connect on that topic will go ahead and hit opt-in. So anyone who doesn't receive or doesn't opt in will receive a second email that looks like this, just saying, one day before the form closes, essentially, hey, you haven't opted in yet. If you want to, don't forget to do so before the end of the day. And so when you do hit opt-in, you go through a form that looks like this. We'll go ahead and just fill this out so I can just show you the whole process. Let's see. So we're going to go ahead and the very first time that you fill this out, you'll be asked to give your current role and company name. The algorithm uses this information when matching. So we're going to ask also the first time, going to ask for your LinkedIn, and then we won't ask you again. We just need it once so that when we introduce you to your pair, your LinkedIn is there. And so how many years of experience do you have? We optimize for peer matching. So that's why relative to everyone else who's opting in, we know how many years of experience do you have. And just so you know, for other communities, this is the type of question that we can customize and change. Maybe it's a founder community and we could say, how many years of founder experience do you have? Things like that. So these are the kinds of things that we could customize. As well as this question, which, the theme of this one-to-one conversation is allyship. So we now want to know, what about that do you want to talk about? So diving deeper, just what are some of the discussion topics you're interested in connecting over, or are you interested in any of them? And then just for logistics, we need to know your time zone and a couple of times of availability so that we can go ahead and send you a calendar invite and we match you with someone who's also available at those times. And then the last question is, are you open to getting matched twice? Just in case there's an odd number of opt-ins, we want to know if we can pair you twice. And almost everyone says yes, which is great. And then there you are, you are all opted in. The rest of the process will look like this. I'm going to go quickly for the sake of time, but you'll receive an introduction to your match. Your LinkedIn will be here. A bit of information just about your partner. So a little bio will pre-populate for the sake of this demo. We don't have the bio here, but you'll have a little bio about you and your partner, and you'll be connected with them on this email. So if you need to reach out to them, or just you want to say hello before the meeting, you can do so on this email. You'll also receive a calendar invite that you have the ability to edit if you're not a fan of Google Meets, or you have a specific video link that you want to use, you can go ahead and put that in here. Or if you need to, again, reschedule or edit this, you have the ability to. There's also a suggested agenda in the body of the email that you're able to use if you want to. And then after the chat, you receive a feedback form that you're able to leave some feedback, let us know how it went. We ask a couple of questions like what future topic you're interested in discussing. So the likes of Andy know what future topics to offer for things like this, as well as testimonials and other things like that. So that is the end user experience, just to walk you through from start to finish, and then to share a little bit about just sort of what Andy sees on his side. And if you're a community manager, what you would see is essentially from setup to feedback. This platform is kind of just all things Orbiit for the community manager side. So what audience for any given round of matching, what we call an engagement, what audience are you engaging? So for this example, the engineering leaders. And then as the opt-ins are coming in, so in real time, you'll be able to see who is opting in and from what company, when they opted in. That way, if Andy notices that Jimmy didn't opt in, but he recently said that he wanted to connect with another member, he could then send Jimmy the link and encourage him to opt in. So kind of you can have a hands-on approach if you do as a community manager. And then once the matches are made, you can see who's been matched to who, when the meeting is scheduled for. If that is rescheduled, that will appear here as well. And then you will see the feedback coming in, again, in real time. So a couple of features that are coming very soon, which we're excited about. This admin platform is relatively new, so we're adding features weekly. It seems like is a big aggregated feedback dashboard. So that dashboard will appear here, giving insights into things like, of everyone who opted in, what percentage of them was this their first time opting in versus repeat, and just other engagement metrics. Out of 5, how would you rank your match? For you, how strong of a match was that for you? So things like that. And then we also ask if you're interested in reconnecting with this person again. And if both people say yes, then we'll send just sort of a nudge email down the line saying, hey, you two had a great chat in April. You both wanted to reconnect. Feel free to use this email to do so. So that is sort of everything from the end user side to the admin side. I wanted to make sure I got through everything. I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys might have.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Addie. That was really, really fantastic walkthrough of the product. And I'm getting even more excited about trying it out for the New York Tech Alliance community. I know as an organizer and as a leader of the nonprofit world, you get asked a lot about, do you know so-and-so who can help X, Y, and Z, and it's all about facilitating those connections and those introductions. And so I see this really helping to create that sense of community within the community, and allowing that facilitation to happen on a scale, and not just me acting as that bottleneck. Because if some of you have emailed me, you know that it takes me a little bit of time to get back to you, just because there's so many. But I really am and just seeing that today, I'm really excited to see.
I'm excited too.
With the metrics especially, and the community metrics, it's really, really awesome what you all have built. So we'll open it up to some questions. So if you have questions for Addie and Orbiit, please make sure to put them in the chat or in the questions section. Glenn from SAP, who's a return New York Tech Meetup or participant, I'm going to be hopefully connecting him to this product as well. He said that he's seen something like this at a conference that he's attended, and I know that when we had our conversation, I mentioned products like Brella. And can you talk about how that differentiates just a little bit?
Yeah, it's a great question, and one that we get often, just in terms of event-based tools. There are a lot of them out there. And I think the biggest difference truly is just that this is an ongoing thing. This is something that you can always have access to, connect one-on-one with a peer in whatever community you're choosing to spend your time. And in our opinion, you and every other community manager that we're working with, you guys have done the hard of getting these great people in one place. And so, events are great, and meeting people at events are great, but just having the ability to have that continued, what we like to call engineered serendipity throughout the entire year is sort of where we differentiate ourselves, knowing that you have either, our clients will either do once a month or twice a month, just the opportunity to connect with other people within the community.
Absolutely. That's a great answer. I had a question around, I received your first newsletter, so that was really exciting to see that come through. And you put some metrics there around satisfaction scores and engagement, and they were really, really high. And so can you speak to how that's measured, and just what you're seeing with your pilot projects?
So we of course measure, NPS, in terms of just, would you, of course, the typical NPS question, would you recommend this to a friend? We ask about match rating, which is essentially, the question is, how strong of a match was this person for you? That's a metric that we look at very closely, because it's one that actually informs our technology, our AI, our algorithm, in terms of making it smarter. So we have an NPS score of 87, which is fantastic. We actually have some programs that are running with an NPS score of 100, and the community managers think that it's fake and that something's broken, but it's not. People love these. I mean, the thing is, if you're opting in and you're getting matched, our algorithm is matching you with someone who is in the same stage of whatever it is they're going through as you, whether that's you're a founder and you want to connect with another founder, or you're going through a career change and you want to speak to someone else who's going through the same things. And just, when people try it, they absolutely love it. And so those are some of the metrics that we're looking at, as well as a metric that I find very important for just looking at the health of like a community engagement in general, is looking at how many of the participants want to reconnect with their match. Because to me and a lot of our partners, our clients, what that tells them is this was not just a one-off conversation. This is a connection that they want to foster and continue to develop, and a relationship that means more to them than a 30 or 45-minute conversation. So looking at that is a powerful metric as well.
That's great. And one of the things that really struck me is that you're connecting peers within the industry or within the community. And I've asked you about like mentorship, mentee models and whatnot, but I really love the way that you talk about why that decision was made and how those connections are created, and the value that you all are finding in that. So can you speak a little bit to that?
Yeah, it's a really great question. And we were really excited to dive like straight into peer connections, because there are a lot of mentor-mentee programs, and they're fabulous. And I think that what you can get out of peer connections is just different. It's someone that, especially for, if you don't have a lot of peer connections, whether that's like in your industry or in your role, or going through similar things, it's just a way to have someone to bounce ideas off of, or to just feel supported. I know when COVID first happened and we were connecting peers, we had testimonials and feedbacks that said, like, this was the highlight of my week, because I was able to meet someone like going through something similar to me, and this has become like a regular recurring meeting in my calendar from here on out. So I think that peer connections, I mean, everyone really has like their go-to person, whether in their industry, their company, that they go to for support and questions and things like that. And there are so many, like I said before, there's so many great communities and networks out there. We're just trying to unlock the power that already exists there by connecting members of that community.
That's awesome. I think we're just about at time, but before we go, I had one more question, and it really is around this cultivating community, and how you see that changing when things start to reopen. I know that during COVID, we've been looking for those connections in digital format, and how do you think that that's going to impact the product over time?
Yeah, it's definitely top of mind for us as we continue to build out Orbiit. We plan to go sort of a hybrid model of facilitating virtual connections still, and really we've seen the power that can have from like a global scale, connecting people who would never meet in person, but also eventually opening that up to in-person conversations. So what we've talked about internally is having essentially asking people, are you interested in meeting with the best possible match for you, no matter where they are, or do you want to meet in a specific location, and sort of going down the route of connecting people in the same location for in-person coffee chats. So we see it as probably a hybrid model where the user is choosing what they want to do.
That's awesome. That's a great answer. I'm really excited to see what happens in the future for Orbiit, and as well as the community, especially as we move into these hybrid models. We at New York Tech Alliance have always tried to create these digital connections for quite some time, and a lot of people couldn't quite grasp how it happened. And so now unfortunately, but now that we have a crash course in digital, how to connect digitally through a lot of these platforms, I think we're going to see a great success for some of these hybrid products. So again, thanks so much, Addie, for being a part of the program tonight. Really fantastic product. It's so great to see how the AI matching is really facilitating one-on-one peer networking and putting the power in community organizers' hands to help scale that, take that to scale. So thank you so much. We'll look forward. Anybody who has questions for Addie, please be sure to find her at the Orbiit table after the program is complete, and I'm sure she'll be happy to answer any questions. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And everybody opt into the chats when you get the emails.
Yes, please. Awesome. Thank you. Great. And so then that we're going to move right along into our next demo. And so we've had how to cut through some noise for meeting noise with Slack. We've talked about creating one-on-one connections in a community and helping community organizers facilitate that. And now we're going to move right along to Farah of the Labz. I'm really excited to have Farah as part of the program today. And it's just really great to show you this really phenomenal virtual event platform. That does not give it justice. So I will let Farah take it away. And I'm just really excited to have her share it. So go ahead, share your screen. I'll make sure that everything is working, and then I'll hide myself.
Hi, everybody. 1 second. Hey, well, I am Farah. Thank you, Andy, for that wonderful introduction. I'm the CEO and founder of the Labz. And before we get into what my product does and how it works, in the tradition of storytellers like I want to give you a quick story about two filmmakers I know. Their name is Krista and Laura. Before COVID, their film selling process included Krista and Laura holding table reading events in LA and New York. Wonderful, very unique experiential events. These sales events were curated to highlight the themes of the film, rally around the excitement of the celebrity cast, and all to try to get the results of entertaining buyers, film buyers, who are flooded with content and choices every day. They have to be unique in order to make their sales mark, their launch goal. This worked great in the past, but in 2020, as we all know, the world changed, and Krista and Laura faced a problem that many in media and entertainment industry face today, which is dynamic online events for media and entertainment do not fit in the bracket for a Zoom or a hop-in. They are very curated. They're very themed around storytelling. So the solution there is to do custom events. That can be very costly. Give you away too much. And so therefore you can't use that as your regular go-to-market strategy if you want to present content to your media entertainment audiences. Fortunately, I'm happy to say Krista and Laura latest project, Invisible, here with Will Forte, Edie Pattinson, and Jim Rush, was curated in the Labz. They launched that globally. They were able to execute a multi-sensory interactive experience, a lot of words, but it was all of those things. And as a result, they did sell of their first film through a virtual environment. All right, so think of the Labz as what e-commerce did for brick and mortar. We are here to make these types of events very accessible, very cost effective, so that people can continue to do this on a regular basis versus once in a while, because it's way too expensive and cumbersome. How it works is that the Labz is like your Wix or your website builder that allows you to fully customize an event or media experience. We house a suite of interactive tools that users mix and match to achieve hybrid, live, on-demand events, robust media presentation, and we are a media collaboration platform. We've been one since 2018. Our features, just very quickly, we have different buckets of things that people may want to use or may not want to use or use altogether to make their event more interesting. So anywhere through to our own video conferencing, our own live stream, group chat, private chatting, you could turn these things on and off and have them there. We have different tech options. So your traditional options for backgrounds is 2D. Right, but you're able to, in our platform, have 360-degree experiences. So if you want to embed a roller coaster ride from YouTube and have that be your lobby overlaid by another live stream, well, you're able to do that. We have some VR plugins. So, but if you want to just step back and say, hey, I just want to send out my film or my content to someone, then you're able to do that on a smaller scale. But the options are there for you. Automation, if you needed to automate your film or video to start on a particular day and time, like live television, you're able to do that. Buttons popping up after a video finishes, all these things are a part of workflows that you're able to create. And you're not able to create that today in, let's say, a website builder. It's not made for these type of situations. So when our people come to us, or they want to, build this on their own, they're thinking about what they could have done in the physical and what now can digital offer them. So I pretty much always say, hey, what would you have done? Let's put that on paper, and then we can convert that over to a physical event. Folks in the entertainment industry come up with the really big ideas, and we're able to execute. So just to go more into each area. So we start at the door. At the door, you're able in the Labz to choose how you want people to come in. We have plugins for, let's say, if you wanted to use eBrite or your ticketing system. We don't do ticketing, but we're like a link. There's nothing to download. There's nothing for our users to sign into unless you want them to sign into something. These are options that you have as well. And then you have countdown widgets, social media widgets, all these things you can mix and match and put in there as at will. And then we have a lobby. So different rooms can do different things. Lobbies can be very simple and be maybe even a one-pager. We did this Sylvester Stallone movie preview that they wanted to send out to different media outlets. That's great. They just wanted a background. But then we want a lobby for a more interactive experience, a longer experience. This is one of our co-working space templates. We do have templates. We don't have to build everything from scratch. And you're able to move around this room pretty easily clicking the floor. There are speaker carousels that you can pick, media carousels, pretty much drag and drop whatever you think is going to make your room interesting. And there's plenty of timers for you to count down. So moving on, the theater. We did do Coming to America 2. That was really fun. They wanted a theater. We actually custom made a template for Amazon. The chairs move back and forth. The emojis have, there's just emojis, anyone and having a conversation during the film. So we moved from that to a very basic, but still interesting room where you're just changing the background. Our technology allows for images and videos to stick to their placeholders. So if you have to move different screens, then you still get the illusion as if this was actually a room with a TV that's playing what you want it to play. Video conferencing is really cool. It has this negative space that allows you to put any background and have people engulfed in that background. We also have outlets that if you still wanted to use Zoom or something else, then you can do that as well. So that's it for me. If you are an app developer or you make widgets, we're totally interested. We're starting a marketplace for our platform. And if you want to find out more information, please email me, Farah Allen at the Labz. I'll also put my LinkedIn information in the chat. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Farah. It was really fantastic to see that walkthrough. And I was excited the first time I saw you at the Started event, I believe. And that was, the beauty of the platform just really spoke to me. So that's really what stuck out. And I've seen so many different virtual event platforms, so many different interactive event platforms. And so it was really great to see something that just brought the creativeness of the team to life in a digital setting. So great on the direction that you're going and how you're putting that together. Of course. So we have a question from Andraea, and the question is, how long on average does it take for the admin to set up an event? And I'm sure that's dependent, right?
It doesn't take very long. What's important is that you have your assets. So if you have your assets, then it's like putting your assets together and that's it. So it can take less than 5 minutes if you're prepared. If you're as anal as I am about putting things together and not having assets, how to figure out where it's going, that can take as long as it takes you to design something on Canva. So it's really up to you, but it can take really quick if you have that video already, if you have that background already. It's like 2 seconds and you're done.
Awesome. That's great. And I can attest to that. I found with the platform, we were going to try to host on the platform, but I'm just as particular as Farah is, and I just could not give it the attention I needed. It was really quite intuitive to click around and start putting things together. So really fantastic. I love the widget aspect that you're looking at and how to create that community of app developers and makers for the ecosystem. Is there any particular knowledge base that they need in order to create those apps, or how does that work?
We use React. So I can, anyone who's interested, I can actually send you the stats of what that would take. But I'm not the tech person on my team, unfortunately. I was like, I don't know that answer completely, but React.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to send you the volunteer link to send to your community for volunteers. So, because we need some React volunteers as well. Okay. That's really fantastic. And so once they create those widgets and you're creating ecosystem, how are you making that available to the community of event organizers?
Yeah, so we make that available. We have a app store that people can kind of see where, what's what do they need, and cool things come out. Folks who are in entertainment, they're interested in fresh and new widgets. Like someone made a light that turns on and off and kind of gives you dark mode and light mode. If you're in a living room setting, that's pretty cool. Give something for people to play with while they're, watching other people. I mean, that's totally fine in media entertainment. So we make an announcement, we, put it in the app, and we alert folks of new things.
That's awesome. And then the last question I have for you is still along the lines of that event organizer who's trying to create something unique. How, I guess you mentioned like 360 camera angle and VR, AR. So how are you, what is seen that's been really mind blowing in the environment? Yeah.
So for Amazon with Coming to America 2, they had a 3D artist out of New York, and they wanted a platform that can house his 3D art, and on top of it, house triggers that open up into our standard. Here's a video, and here's a background, and here's a movie theater. So they were able to build that without having to do extra costly development, which was a total benefit for us actually getting them as a client. So they it was cool. It was like the barbershop when you walk into the entrance and then you click the door, and then inside the barbershop, and then you have like these weird barbers like moving around. Very artistic, by the way. It wasn't realistic at all, but it was very abstract. And in that room, you have a TV where the content of the day would be clickable for you to press and go into a theater. And then they had other music in the background, voices, AR filters. We do that too. AR and photo booths, they're all a part of the experience. So yeah, that was pretty interesting. There's also a back door, like a speakeasy back door that was only accessible on a certain day, and you kind of had to be a VIP to know to click the back door. So they handled all of that. We have to go and put some special developers on the job to open that back door. It was the glory of having a platform that's easy. You can switch around things very quickly.
No, that's amazing. And it sounds like you're able to scale it from just a very simple event to a very complex event, depending on kind of what your engagement is looking for and how you're looking to engage the attendees, which from a conference perspective, I mean, I can see, you know, an entire world opening it up for event organizers and brands as well. I imagine that brands are really excited to create that feel of an excitement that we're all looking for in the virtual space. So that's really awesome. Thank you so much for sharing the Labz with us. I encourage you to check it out and connect with Farah after the event. She will be more than happy to answer any of your questions, and yeah, check them out. They're fantastic. But thank you so much, and we're going to move right along to our last demoer. Fantastic. Next up, we go from virtual events to how do you create a social community on your website. So Andraea from Hio is going to share with us how they're making that happen. And I'm really excited. I'm a huge fan of Hio. We've been a big fan from the early days, and I'm so happy to have you presenting Hio Hover on the New York Tech Meetup.
Yes, thank you so much. We love Andy over at Hio. He's been with us since the beginning. He's an OG Hio guy, and we've evolved so much since he started being involved with us. So Hio stands for Hit It Off, and our whole mission is to power the human connection. So with this new product that we've launched called Hio Hover, we're doing that through a widget that lives on your own website, any URL that you have access to backend code for. And it can be something that engages attendees for an event if you have a live stream on your website, or it can just be your year-round community. So it's really customizable, completely brandable to you, and it keeps everyone right there on a home base of your website so that their eyeballs are there on your content, on your upcoming events, on your sponsors or advertisers instead of somewhere else. So it's one place to bring everyone together where they can continue the conversation and keep networking. So what I'm going to do is share my screen with you and show you just a bit through the admin portion of how easy it is to create, because when you say you're going to create a widget, it sounds complicated, but I promise it's not. And then I'm going to show you the attendee or site visitor experience as well. So bear with me while I just share my screen really quickly. And once you can see it, please give me some thumbs up. You able to see the screen? I think so. Okay, so hopefully you can see the screen that is our admin dashboard. So this is the Hio Hover dashboard, and all of these are hovers that I have myself. So these are ones that I have created. Some of them you'll see are for specific pages, specific subdomains, pages that start with, or an entire website. So we're gonna go in to edit one of these just so I can show you very quickly through the simple process that is creating a hover widget for your site. So you'll come in to edit, and of course, easy name of your hover and your organization. This piece, the type of integration, is really special because this is where you can decide if this widget that you're building, this live preview over to the right, is going to follow your attendee or your site visitor through their entire experience on your website, or if it might live on a specific subdomain. Maybe you have a members only access area where you want to put a custom widget, or pages that start with specific pages. This one is great for event hosts. So if you have a live stream you're embedding into one of your landing pages, you can have an app that is specific to that event that lives right there. And so it's a really great way to just customize the experience that people have as they move through anything you're doing on your website. So next you'll go over to the branding section. This was really important to us because we want this to feel like you. We want it to feel like your community, like your event, and be involved with all of your hex colors, as well as subheaders and headers here of the tiles. So if we wanted to say, welcome everyone, a live enactment there comes up on the live preview. And then you can go ahead and change these colors to any color that you could possibly want. So you really can choose anything for this header color as well as the tile border color. Those you can just go ahead and, put wherever you want, be creative, find something fun that works for your group, and then continue along. The layout is all of these tiles that are here on the right-hand side. You can decide if you want to have all of them enabled, or maybe you don't want your site visitors to message each other. You just toggle that one off. So it's really easy, and you can also edit what these things are called. So for live attendees, maybe for you, this makes more sense to say networking. and you can edit that subheader as well. Maybe threaded discussions. You want to call this forums instead because that speaks to your community. You can really make them as customized as you want to you. Same thing with our next area here. The last step, it's really that easy, is the channels. So you can have as many chat channels as you would like. This kind of like, think Slack, but bigger and something you control. So this is where you can come in and edit the names of all of these channels. You can customize them, add new, let's see, Fun Fact Friday. And what you'll be able to do is see right here everything that you've done in this live preview. Once you've got it finished, you publish the changes and you'll be ready to go with a code. So when I come back over here to my list of hovers, I can just simply click on this code button, and this is the entirety of the code that populates for you. It's about 2 lines when it's fully laid out, and this will go into the back end of your website builder, and automatically it will pop up with a widget on your website, which is really great. Now, one thing before we leave the admin dashboard to note is that you also have an admin profile and account settings where you can view all your billing history, etc., and set up your own profile for Hover. And you have access to an entire support stack. So we arm you with all of the collateral that you need, a channel, a knowledge base, video tutorials, everything you could possibly need to get that adoption up for using Hover. Now, onto the fun side. This is where you can see Hover in action. This is what your site visitors will see. So you can see this box lives on your website. This is a dummy website that we created for New York Times, but we're still using it for demoing. So you can see you can collapse Hover down into itself. You can also drag it if it is blocking some content that you want to see. It can move anywhere on your site. And then you can go into really start to interact. So live fans here, this is going to show you anyone who's here now. Looks like no one's here at the present moment, but recent views you can see as well. So by a quick hover over these people, I can see I'm not connected with Zach yet. I can request a connection. I can see social media information, phone numbers, websites, documents, Clubhouse, TikTok, anything that people have added into their social media profiles, they can share with me so that I'll be able to link straight out to that once I've connected to them. I can also see their bio, their interests, and this little bubble right here will allow me to direct message them too. So if we go back, this live chat forums, or whatever you decide to call it, this is where you're going to have all of the action. Well, a lot of it anyway, because this is where people can join in and chat with each other. They can add PDFs in there. They can add photos. They can add videos. I think there are some car videos in this sports channel. And just as you would expect, you're able to reply in a threaded comment, react to something here. Let's give it a thumbs up for this car. And you can also self-moderate by flagging or muting someone in the chat. So you can add any file type that you would like as well, and add emojis. So just a lot of fun options here in the chat channels, and those are unlimited for how many you can have. The connections is next down. So anyone you connect with during an event or during a session on a web page, you'll be able to come back and find anytime to continue the conversation. This is great for an event host who has an event and then has people post-event wanting to continue that conversation and carry it forward. But it's also great for people who host year-round communities. People with like-minded ideas and stories can come together and meet each other, connect, and then carry on, maybe do business together in the future. Lastly, you have the direct messages. This is where you can come in and view any direct messages people are sending you. You can still reply to them, react to them. And a cool thing in the DMs that you can do too is tag someone to say hello. And you'll be able to do that, and they'll get a push notification if they're online right now. And if they aren't online right now, they will get an email telling them that they've received a direct message. So all really neat things, and what it serves to do is to keep the eyeballs here on this site so that what's behind, which is your content that you curate and you control, is being seen. So your upcoming events, your sponsors, your advertisers, they want to see that ROI on eyes on site time, and all of that analytic information is rolled up to you as the site publisher. So you'll have a dashboard where you can see time on site as well as the activities that are going on within the widget, which chat channels are being used the most, etc. So lots of great things, and we are in full beta right now. So that means that we are extending to people who want to come on as beta customers a deeply discounted price in exchange for all of your feedback and help with going to market with even a bigger and better offering.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Andraea. That was really fantastic. Demo, really, the first time I seen it laid out like that, so that was really, really awesome to see that flow from the admin side as well as the user side. I'm really excited to see where it goes. Again, reminder, if you have questions for Andraea, please put them in the questions answer and in the question spot, and we'll pick a few. To begin with, I wanted you to explain, you all have pivoted from a previous iteration of this product. I know Jason has, the founder, has demoed at New York Tech Meetup before the previous version. So can you speak about like what that was like and how it created to move to where you are now?
Absolutely. So we actually pre-COVID were an in-person app solution for networking. Amazing networking capabilities, follow-up emails that were pre-scripted, meeting booking, contact swapping, all of these things. And a bit before COVID started in January of last year, we actually started to develop some virtual components, but were met with some pushback. I think I heard this earlier from someone else too. People didn't understand that virtual was really the future until we were pushed into it. So then March came around, everyone needed to pivot digitally, virtually. So our event platform became a virtual platform, and we were able to service a lot of customers. Then fast forward to the fall, I think November of 2020, and actually Georgie Ann, who is on here, was one of the people who brought this to our attention, but we had several members of our community saying, you know what, I love Hayo's networking features, but I'm using these different platforms and I wish I lay on top of them. I wish that I could have the Hayo capabilities for networking all the time on my website, things like that. So we took that and kind of ran with it, and we talked to our investors, we talked to a lot of partners, and very quickly gained a lot of traction. Opened another round of funding, which did really well, opened a new convertible note. So we are, we're just really going in this direction with new features and new people involved, and it has really gained more than what we hoped possible. So we're just taking all this feedback and running with it to make it the best product possible and focusing completely on Hover right now.
Awesome, thank you. That was terrific, terrific path explained. It was really great. I'm super excited. I've been a big fan of what you first created for in-person events, and I was excited to see the shift and really excited to see where you go with this product. We got a question. Can you have different versions of the widget on different pages?
Yes, 100%. So this is one of the coolest parts that people love right now. A lot of our partners have a public-facing site, but then they might also have a member portal. So the cool thing about Hover is that you can have as many of them as you want, and they can be as custom as you want. So maybe on the front end of your website, let's say it's New York Tech Alliance, maybe you have questions and answers section in one of your chat channels. You've got testimonials. Maybe you have a team member who drops in to answer questions about membership, and that's all on the front end. And perhaps you don't allow direct messaging between members there. But then once someone joins and goes behind your membership portal, you've got your different Hover widget that lives back there with more exclusive content, more ability for networking, etc. That it just makes it a very different and unique experience that adds value there.
That's awesome. That's great. And I particularly love the idea of embedding a stream onto a website and bringing the conversation event for one of our virtual events, or even when we go into hybrid events, having that conversation be facilitated on our website. I think that that's really one of the fantastic features that you're seeing. And as I've been playing with all the different types of platforms like AirMeet or StreamYard or Zoom, even how we're consolidating it down and potentially being able to post all of that on our website. I think that that's really phenomenal.
So many of these video stream services are realizing that's something people want to do. And so I think it's like a flip to what we're doing that are a really great marriage together, because everyone knows that you want the eyes on your actual website. That's what you work hard for. That's what you control. And that's where you want your community to land. So if you can get the video component and the chat and networking component there together, it's just cool.
Yes, awesome. Fantastic. Well, I think we're just about out of time. I didn't see any additional questions come through, but I'm going to invite all of the demoers back up on stage. Dave from SuperQuickQuestion, Addie from Orbiit, Farah from the Labz, please join me back on stage. While we're getting them added, I know we're a few minutes over. Thank you for your patience. We had a few little technical difficulties up front, and I wasn't able to get it to work streaming, but all is what it is, and I'm glad that everybody is still here. So great. I think we're missing Addie from Orbiit. And then I'm going to quickly do one last round of Q&A. Basically, what I'm going to be asking is what is it that the community can help you with in these next couple of months. So I'm going to go ahead and start with you, Andraea. What is your ask for the community?
Yeah, our ask is that if HioHover sounds interesting to you at all, we are leaving our beta customer program open through the end of this month. Huge discount in exchange for feedback. So if you or anyone you know would like to be involved, let us know. We also are building an awesome affiliate program. So if you would like to be involved as an affiliate partner, even if it's not for you, then we'd love that too.
Awesome. You're up next. What is your ask for the community?
Yeah, I mean, if you manage a community of your own or know anyone who does, I mean, we're always looking to connect with community managers and you know, any sort of individual who's looking after a group of people who would benefit from connecting one-to-one to each other, whether that's a VC that wants to connect their portfolio together or a company that wants to connect their employees. Community can come in all shapes and sizes. I'd love to hear from you guys.
Awesome, thank you. Dave, you're next.
I'd love for everybody to try out SuperQuickQuestion and let me know what you think. Beta testers are like gold, so your opinions are very valued. And we also just started a search for a CTO type role. So if that's you or you know somebody, please send them my way.
Awesome, thank you so much. And then Farah, what is your ask for the community?
Yeah, I would love if you guys are looking for curated events, just reach out to me. Also, we are looking for someone to lead partnerships in our team. So if you know anyone or if you're interested in the media entertainment space, let me know.
Awesome. And that, again, was someone to lead partnerships for your team?
Correct.
Awesome. That's really fantastic. So everybody, again, thank you so much for joining us on this beautiful spring evening. We hope that you've enjoyed all of these demos, and we hope that you will stick around for just a few minutes and connect with each of them at their table. I'll be around in the networking session if you have any questions for me. And again, thank you so much. Thank you to Callie for helping me facilitate this. Thank you thank you to Doug for always being a great member of the New York Tech Alliance team. And I'm going to give a special shout out to Georgie Ann Getton, who has been such a great insight to many of the companies here. She just joined the board of New York Tech Alliance. I'm so excited to have you on board. I'm so excited to have you on the team as well. If you find her in the networking, I would definitely recommend connecting with her as well. So thank you so much. I hope that you've enjoyed this evening's event, and we'll see you in the networking piece. Thank you and have a great night.
Thank you.